Welcome to Veterans One. I'm your host, Amy Scruggs. If you have been following the show so far, we want to say thank you. It has been an incredible experience, and if you were watching the last episode, you saw the interview we did with a World War II veteran who survived Normandy. It's amazing to me the people that are already coming on this show to share their stories, to share and empower you to support our military and veteran communities more, and today is going to be no different. We have amazing women coming on today to talk about the important needs of our female veterans and how we can make a difference and what has been missing in making a difference in the lives of our female veterans. We're also going to be talking about entrepreneurship and supporting the wives of our military. And also, as always, we're going to talk about the importance of VA homeownership. We've got a great show lined up. You want to stay tuned and watch the whole thing? We're getting started right now. We love when we meet people that are just as passionate about helping and serving military families as we are here at Veterans One. And right now our next guest is no different. We have Flossie Hall. Flossie, so great to sit and talk with you.
Yeah, great to be here. Thanks for having me.
So I already know that you're passionate and love what you do working with the Rosie Network, but I want to hear a little bit about you first. Why don't you just share with us your background and what led you into this group?
So I'm a military spouse, active duty. My husband's been in the Navy for almost 18 years now. I have 4 beautiful, exhaustive children.
I get that.
Yeah.
And thank you for serving, because it's the whole family that serves.
Oh, thank you.
So thank you for your 18 years of serving alongside him.
Absolutely. It's, there's a lot of sacrifices made throughout the entire family unit, so we appreciate that. So a little bit about my background. We first moved to San Diego about 8 years ago, and my path was actually supposed to be through medicine. And I graduated from school and was supposed to become a doctor, and with 4 kids and a military husband, that's not always the best path. So that didn't work out for me, so I became an accidental entrepreneur, and I started a company.
I like that.
Yeah. I say, as a spouse, we learn to curve and swerve, and we kind of have to curve and swerve, and I happened to swerve into entrepreneurship. And I started my own company in 2015 called Healthy Mama. And we had a tremendous amount of success. We did about 500,000 meals in 2.5 years here in San Diego.
That's huge.
Yeah, and it was totally on accident, but it was a crash course MBA from start to finish. And I say when I write a book someday about it, it'll be titled "How Not to Start a Business," because I had to do everything wrong twice to do it the right way. But I was a part of the Rosie Network's programming during that time, and they offered guidance. So when I exited my company last year, because mass food production was not my ultimate dream, even though I built something really great and awesome, I wanted to go on and teach other military spouses entrepreneurship and try to make their road a little less painful. So now that's kind of what I do at the Rosie Network.
So all the bumps in the road that you face now, you're bringing all of that expertise and talent and pain into this. It sounds like you're a perfect fit. Let's jump in a little more to the Rosie Network then. Tell us exactly what it is you're doing and what they're doing and how we can support that.
Yeah, so the Rosie Network was founded in 2012 by Stephanie Brown, our fearless leader, who is phenomenal. She's a military spouse, retired of 30 years.
Wow.
And her husband served 30 years in the SEAL team. So rough and rugged entrepreneur herself, and she created the Rosie Network to help military spouses and veterans start, launch, and grow their businesses. So we started in San Diego, and last year when I joined, her dream had always been to get the program out of San Diego, and because one of my superpowers happens to be growth and scaling and this whole world domination thing that everyone makes fun of me, I don't think small. In 9 months now, we've been creating the program and trying to get that out of San Diego. So now we are already launched in 2 other cities, and we're launching in 5 more in the next 6 months.
So you guys are really helping with entrepreneur. I always struggle on that word.
It's the worst
Entrepreneur
word.
support. It really is, and don't ask me to spell it either.
No, I know.
So you guys are really helping people get their businesses started, because as you learned, so much involved with that. There's already the discipline and structure that goes with already being in the military, but now you can take that and pair it. How are you guys, what kind of things are you seeing? What kind of projects and businesses are you seeing grow with the support of Rosie Network?
So it's great is that we have all these great national hiring initiatives for military spouses, and we just found that military spouses still have the highest unemployment rate in the country out of any minority group, and we just don't traditionally fit into an employment box. That we're trying to advocate that entrepreneurship is a way to work for yourself, to work from home, to work through PCS moves, to work from all over the world, to work while your spouse is deployed, to work while the kids are at school, or grow it into something bigger, but to take control of your own path when you live this lifestyle where you feel like you don't have any control. So the Rosie Network has a great program. So we offer a cohort-style curriculum. You come in, and it's the new programs that we have for Rosie chapters are for military spouses only, which is great because spouses thrive in a spouse-only environment of that support of fellow spouses that are going through that same stuff. You know, my spouse is deployed, my kids are having breakdowns. How do I find my own path when we're often on the back burner, is what we say.
Sure, that's a whole different element of work-life balance.
Exactly.
In that compartment, absolutely.
Yeah, so we just bring them in and we put them in a cohort-style classroom, and we put them through these modules and this training and curriculum, and we partner them with community resources and one-on-one mentorship, and we just say, what is success to you and how can we help you? And some don't even have a company yet, they're just thinking about it, and some have them and they just don't know where to take it or the next step, or some want to grow it and make it that next Qualcomm. So who can we connect them to in the community, and what kind of resources can we give them to make them successful? Again, what have I done in my bumps and bruises in the road, and how can we take that and now scale that in other cities? So we're very excited to be doing this and touching so many military spouses.
Oh, absolutely. I bet you've seen some of them have kind of that aha moment.
Oh, yeah.
Where you see it click, and then you know, all right, they're going to be okay. What does that feel like for you when you see that happen?
It's phenomenal because as a spouse, you feel lost a lot, and you kind of forget that you are a person too. And we just kind of remind them that you are allowed to have your own path. You're allowed to be a person. You're allowed to chase your dreams. You're allowed to have some purpose. And that doesn't always mean volunteer work. That can mean a career, and it can mean something that you care about doing. So when you see a spouse that we talk to them and their passion was teaching, but they couldn't transfer licensing, and all of a sudden they start an online tutoring business, and they start hiring other military spouses, and then they're bringing in income for their family, so they're not as stressed out, and they feel confident and they're happy.
Changes everything.
It's like night or day. It gives me goosebumps because
Yeah.
I was that spouse, you know what I mean? And now I have passion and purpose in my life, but I did feel that, when's it my turn? And we just tell spouses, your turn is now, right now. Make the choice to make it now. And we just help guide that conversation a little bit of making them speak up and start thinking about themselves.
Well, it's so exciting because you're helping, it's like one family at a time you're making a difference. And what's awesome is the legacy that then they're passing that down to their kids. Now there's tools in that family. They've got all the discipline and the military training. Now you're putting that entrepreneurship training. I did it right that time. And then now you're passing that down and those kids are getting both of that. I think you're going to see multiple generations now benefiting from what you guys are doing. And I think that's fantastic. How can our viewers, how can we support and help?
So right now, as we grow, we have more demand for our program than we can keep up with. So advocacy is a big part of what we do. We advocate all the way up to Washington, D.C. to get spouse laws changed, to just make it part of the conversation. We say there's two sides of the military coin. There's a veteran and the active duty member, but there's always the military spouse. And if they're both not thriving, then there's something that's off in the family, and the whole family can't thrive as a whole. So just making sure that the military spouse is always part of the conversation, and that when we're bringing new resources and services to veterans and to active duty service members who we love, we all have them at home, but that we're also serving our military spouses and their needs as well. So just making sure that the conversation is the whole family unit. So that's a big part of how we can help.
I love it. Thank you. You guys are making such a huge difference. Will you come back again sometime and give us updates and tell us how more we can support?
Absolutely.
It's fantastic. Thanks, Flossie.
Yeah.
There are so many ways that we can support our military families. What a great example of that. We'll be right back with more Veterans One.
What's important to us is that we attract the right people that are going to make us better once they get here. The home buying experience is on time, every time, and we never fail our clients. We help develop originators to become more relevant, more competitive, and more impactful for their clients out over the future.
We had one goal in mind: to create the very best mortgage company in the nation while maintaining our core values and our commitment to serving others.
Synergy One has emerged as the lender of choice for top producing loan officers across the country. If you're interested in taking your business to the next level, please contact us today.
We expect to bring great things to the consumers across the country as they evolve in the mortgage process with us.
As far as serving our military and veteran community that we don't always remember to touch on, and that is our amazing female veterans. We have an incredible amount of women that have served and that are currently serving in our military in all different branches and in all different jobs. And we need to touch on that and see what is the resources that they need. How can we help? Well, I have some experts here to talk about that today. Paula, thank you so much for coming in. You are so passionate about the female veteran and what the needs are that you actually started Veteran Sisters.
Yes, thank you for having us.
So tell me a little bit about your background, and also you've brought Lindsey with you. I'd love you to introduce and share a little bit of what you guys are such a dynamic duo.
Yes, so I started Veteran Sisters basically by accident. While going through the VA claims process, it was a very lonely experience. So I was very lucky to have a couple of veteran brothers that kind of helped guide me through it. It was a very dark and hard process. And through that, I started recognizing and talking to other female veterans that were experiencing the same thing. And we kind of came together and just said, you know, it was nicer to have a sister to talk to while going through the claims process. So with that, and my mentor, his name was Ronnie Imel, he was a Vietnam veteran, and he just really took me under his wing, and he was a big brother and very protective, and knew that the VA claims process was already very challenging, but really saw how challenging it was for the female veterans. So he wouldn't let me go anywhere by myself. He would always go with me. It was like my service dog, you know, and just was always with me, protecting me and making sure that I got connected the way I should be. So that kind of led into him leading by example. And then more and more women, as they were getting out of the military, were being referred to him because he was an advocate and he would help them with the paperwork. So he asked if I would come in and sit down with him when he was talking with some of our sisters, and just to make them feel more comfortable. And so that's kind of what started the whole thing with me starting to advocate and be there for my sisters. And it just grew from there. And it once I put it on Facebook to bring sisters together going through the claims process, who are suffering with PTSD, MST, depression and anxiety. We try to really focus on that because those are the emotional, super emotional charge side of the VA claims process. So that's what we did, and it just blew up on Facebook. I was excited when I had 5. You know, that was like, all right, you know, we got 5, we can connect. You know, it was just awesome. And then it was 100, then it was 500. Now it's up over 1,300, and we're actually worldwide. So we've got, wherever there's a female service member or a female veteran, there we are. You know, so that's what's super exciting is that we're connecting.
The need is tremendous,
Yeah.
and it wasn't being talked about. Lindsey, you've come on to talk about this a little bit. You yourself have served.
Yes, ma'am.
Why don't you share a little bit from your perspective what this experience has been and why you love being a part of this?
So for me, I served for 4.5 years, and just like Paula, she had similar experiences like I did, and it was very lonely. You did feel isolated while going through it. It was really hard to relate to other people. And then I got out of the military last year, and I moved to San Diego. And my sister actually introduced me to Paula, and she's just been an angel because now I know that I'm not alone and that I have other people, females that I can relate to, that we can share just the same experiences, be there for each other, and it's just a blessing.
Well, females in general need that. So those of us even that haven't served, we always look for that community. We always look for, you know, the relationships and the friendships. It's such a big part of who we are naturally. Now we raise that up about 20 notches because you guys have been out there and done things that those of us that haven't can't even imagine. You need to find that core group of people that understand, and like you're saying, to help with those resources that it just isn't talked about. What are some examples of things that I want to say fall through the cracks in doing the claims with the VA, or some areas that as female you guys have such specific needs that needs to be addressed?
Well, my experience has been a little different than most of the sisters that I work with, and brothers. I mean, I've got, you know, military service members that just tend to gravitate to us because I don't know if it's because it's like it's a sister you can talk to, or if it's a mom you can talk to, whatever it may be. And then, of course, the veteran aspect of it makes it a little safer of understanding. But for the female side of it, the VA is very male-dominated. So with a lot of the women that we work with and join arms with have military sexual trauma. So it can be very triggering to even think about going to a VA facility because, once again, it's kind of triggering into the whole military service. And a lot of the times the trauma comes from the uniform. So we say that, the designator is MST, which is military sexual trauma, but it also qualifies or falls under PTSD. So the symptoms are the same, the treatments can be a lot the same. The problem is that the women won't reach out and use them because it's male dominated.
Right.
Right. So that's kind of what Veteran Sisters has really worked its way into, trying to help bridge that gap. For myself, when I went through the programs, I was one of those very angry, pissed off persons. So when I sat in the anger management course and, somebody says, you got PTSD, I just thought it was just, unhappy or mad or whatever, but I'd use other words. But anyway, I think I scared a few of the Vietnam vets that were in the same anger management course that I was, and it's just because I didn't care anymore. I didn't care if I made somebody mad. I just didn't care about myself. I was very angry. So I could sit in there and fight my way. But it's not the most comfortable situation to walk into. You have to put on your battle armor is what I say. I got to make sure my hair looks good, my makeup looks good, I've got my clothes. It's almost like a prepping for prom. How sad is that, right? Girls can relate to that.
Right.
You're nervous, you're scared, you're what ifs, and all those kind of things. And you want to make sure you fit in and all those things. So it's kind of like my battle armor. I gear up and I get ready before I walk into a facility. I'm mentally prepared. A lot of the women that we work with aren't there yet. So they're not at that point where they can walk through the doors at the VA.
Wow.
So we want to create an atmosphere that we help them,
Pull them in.
Right, and help the VA as well, because I've started having interviews and conversations with Congress people and making them aware of the female veteran challenges. So not the services work, and they're starting to make a difference with our male veterans.
Right.
Suicide rate is down,
Right.
homelessness rate is coming down, but they're on the rise for the female veteran, which is very sad because the programs work. They made a huge difference in my life. I know they work. I've used them. But they're not working for the female veterans because they won't reach out and use them. So we just got to try to find that comfortable space for the female veteran to feel comfortable, safe, to participate. And we're starting to see a lot of different organizations out there that are starting to recognize this.
They're starting to get it.
Yes.
Well, it's because foundations like what you've done, you're being a voice for them. Right. And now that you're going to start seeing that ripple effect, maybe we should start speaking up. And I think that the reach for that is going to be huge of what you guys have even started to see what can take place in bringing up the awareness, having more people, start similar things that can support. And I think it's incredible what you guys are doing. We've got to be that voice. It's time to stop being silent in this category. I know you've probably seen and heard some incredible stories, some very difficult stories. Is there something that you'd love to share with us maybe that you saw that could make people go, wow, we need to speak up and start making a difference?
Well, one of the most recent things that happened, I shared with you, is that we had a veteran sister that is 100% service-connected through PTSD, MST, and she's up in Northern California. And she, unfortunately, was raped by her attacker when she was served. Found her after she got out. She was 100% connected, so she could go to the VA. That was her choice of service, medical services. So she went to the VA, and she called me in the ambulance on the way there and said, that this had just happened. She's crying, she's scared. And I said, I'll make sure that we have an all-female team to meet you. I'll call ahead. Called the VA, let them know she was on her way. Please have female representation there for her, and they did, and they took her in and they made her as comfortable as they could. But the problem was that they didn't have a SART team, so that is a sexual assault readiness team to be there to greet her and collect the evidence. So after putting her through the process and the assessment and all the questions and the interviews and all of that, they then had to package her up and ambulance her back to another hospital, a community hospital that was better prepared with a collection team. So if the VA is wanting more women, to reach out, female veterans to reach out and utilize them. They need to be prepared for some of these things that are very female specific. And at the VA hospital, if a male was raped, I think he's going to feel a little more comfortable going to an all-male facility, right? So it's a little different for the female veterans. Not a little different, it's a lot different, So we need to have these teams in place. We need to be thinking differently.
Absolutely.
So we need to rethink veteran is what I tell people.
We have a lot of women serving,
Right.
have served. It's time for our resources to reflect that.
Absolutely.
And I think one thing I want to add to that is I know a lot of female veterans like me going through what we went through and trying to reach out, and either our commands not taking it seriously, not helping us. Like we felt very alone. We felt by ourselves that no one was on our side. The military is male dominant. Certain jobs in the military are mostly male. And my job was mostly male dominant as well. Master at Arms, which is also military police.
Wow.
So that's why I think it's very important to have resources everywhere, VA and in the military, to take it seriously, because not all commands take it seriously. And I know people, females who have gotten out and they don't want anything to do with the VA. They say, I never got help when I was in. Why would they help me now?
Exactly.
And I think that's the biggest
that.
problem.
Yeah. How can we,
Absolutely.
how can our viewers, how can we here at Veterans One as well support you guys and help get the word out?
Well, I think it's number one. It's absolutely rethink veteran and visualize the female participation as well. It's helping us connect the dots, meaning the services that are already out there, bring them to us, let us know. We can put the female teams together and we can help populate it across the nation, around the world. Wherever our veterans and service members are, we can come together and help connect them and form these groups that are a little more comfortable for the female veterans.
Well, you guys are doing incredible work. So excited to see what's going to be coming ahead as you guys are really making a difference and a powerful impact. Thank you so much for your service and for coming in and sharing all of this with us today.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Remember our sisters. It's not just the band of brothers. We have amazing women out there serving. Let's be their voice. Let's help them find their voice. And we'll be right back with more Veterans One.
What's important to us is that we attract the right people that are going to make us better once they get here. The home buying experience is on time, every time, and we never fail our clients. We help develop originators to become more relevant, more competitive, and more impactful for their clients out over the future.
We had one goal in mind: to create the very best mortgage company in the nation while maintaining our core values and our commitment to serving others.
Synergy One has emerged as the lender of choice for top producing loan officers across the country. If you're interested in taking your business to the next level, please contact us today.
We expect to bring great things to the consumers across the country as they evolve in the mortgage process with us.
It's always important to remember the power of VA homeownership and what that really looks like. There's a lot of details involved though, and I know there's always some concern with people wondering, can we do it? Do I qualify? What's that look like? Well, we have an expert with us today. Ignacio is going to share with us how exactly to get your VA loan, and brought a great guest to talk about it. Let's check it out.
Welcome back to Veterans One. I'm Ignacio with Synergy One Lending. Today I have a very special guest. It's one of my favorite agents out of the Windemere office in Escondido. I have with me Efrain Chacon. Efrain, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I really appreciate you having me.
You know, one of the things that I really like about you, man, is that, first of all, thank you for serving your country, man.
Thank you.
You know, that's one of the things that, you know, we appreciate all of you guys that, you know, sacrifice so much to give us the freedoms that we enjoy, you know, each and every day. I just wanted to ask you, man, how did you decide to go into the Marine Corps? Like what was your path?
Well, it was kind of interesting because I was doing really well in high school, had a couple scholarships lined up for some really great colleges. And then March 19th, 2003, just a couple months away before graduating, That's when the U.S. went into Iraq, and I'm watching this on TV, and I was like, no, I think I'm going to serve instead. And so that same day, I picked up the phone, called the recruiter, and 3 months later, I was in boot camp. So.
Man, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's so amazing. One of the things that you shared with me earlier was that you chose to get some college in before you enlisted, and then kind of the path that you took after that. How has education in the Marine Corps kind of been a part of your life?
Well, definitely the education plays a big role. When you get out of the military, you're competing. If you're looking for a job, you're competing against now. You did 4 years in the military while everybody else did 4 years in college. So you're neck to neck. But if you leverage the education along with the discipline and the values that you gain in the military, now you have an edge ahead of everybody else. So for example, if I go up to a job, get out of the military at 22, and I'm competing against somebody who's also 22, but they've had a little bit of life experience, but they mostly college.
Yeah.
But then here I show up with the discipline, the integrity, and that work ethic of the military, along with the education. It just definitely puts me at a higher standard than somebody else.
That's one of the big things about the Marine Corps. Just the discipline and the work ethic. That's something that can be taught if you go into the Marine Corps. I mean, most of the guys that come out of there, they're very disciplined, they're on point, they're responsible. So that's somebody that you can definitely count on whatever job they kind of choose. Now, especially with you being in the real estate industry, you definitely want somebody that is responsible, that is always kind of ahead of everything, taking care of all the details. And I think that's one of the things that I really like about you because, I understand that after you got your bachelor's, then you went and got your master's.
Correct, yeah.
To me, that shows a lot of dedication that you want to, work on yourself, that you want to get educated, and that you want to, set an example, obviously, for your kids and your family and everybody else, that you can do both. Like, you don't have to choose military or you don't have to choose college. You're one of those guys that did both.
Correct, yeah. You could definitely do both. When I was in graduate school, it was actually really tough because I was already in another career. I was starting real estate. I was coaching 3 soccer teams, and I was in graduate school. So, it took a lot of discipline, a lot of time management, writing things down, staying within those limits of, okay, today I'm going to do this, but by this time, I have to start this next thing. And if I don't, so you set those standards and you bring those standards from the military to help you be successful, whether it's going to be in a career or in education, if you decide to get out of the military and pursue school.
Absolutely, man. So tell me a little bit about how you transitioned into real estate. What did that look like for you?
For me, it started with, so when I left the military, I struggled a little bit with benefits, right? I had that mentality, and a lot of veterans have it, that I don't want to go after my benefits because there's other guys, other men and women that had it a lot harder than I did, and I don't want to take that away from them.
Right.
But eventually I noticed it started affecting my life, it started affecting my family, because I felt too prideful to ask for help.
Yeah.
But 8 years after, I finally went to the VA, I got the benefits that I needed, and it's really shown me that no matter what we've gone through in the military, no matter what we've gone through in life or what we've succeeded, we all need help.
You know what? Let me cut you over there, man, because I think asking for help, that's a big part of a guy's mentality, and especially somebody like you that was in the Marine Corps. You don't want to seem weak.
Yeah.
We never want to admit our weaknesses, and sometimes that's something very important that our vets, when they need help, they can't be afraid to ask for help. They have to be like, look, man, I'm struggling. I don't know what's wrong. I need to go get it checked out. And man, I'm very glad that you were able to actually, honestly, be humble enough and put your pride aside to be like, yo, man, something's wrong. I need some help. So I'm very glad that you did that.
Thank you. And so that actually opened up doors because I went at it by myself. And so it was hard for me to get certain benefits, not knowing who to call, where to turn to. And I learned on my own. And I figured out, man, this is tough. So I started then, from my own experiences, helping other veterans. And so I became a veteran advocate, just not professionally or anything, just, hey, I know what number you need to call. I know where you need to go. And through networking, that just led me, hey, this is the guy you want to talk to. Hey, this is the office that you want to go to. And so that led me into education benefits. And then I found out about the housing benefits that I had no idea about.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, this is pretty awesome. I can buy a house with no money down and no closing costs. And so I bought my house, and then again, by personal experiences, I was like, man, I can help so many more people. And so that's what led me into real estate, helping veterans leveraging their benefits towards the greater good for themselves and their families.
Absolutely, man. You know what? And these guys earned those benefits. It wasn't given for free, man. It cost each one of those guys something, you know. But, you know, I want to talk today about a listing that you have. You have a listing here in Chula Vista, right?
I do, yeah.
Can you tell me about it?
Yeah, it's a great listing in Chula Vista. It's over by Palomar Road and Otay. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 1-car garage. It's actually a condominium, but it's 1,300 square feet, and it's only priced at $375,000. So
That's
great community. It's only about 14 years old.
Okay.
Very low HOAs. It's actually one of those newer communities where right next door you have taquerias, you got barbershops, there's a gym. I mean, it's perfectly located. It's a great, great home, 3-bed, 2-bath. It's a phenomenal property.
That's perfect, man. What's the purchase price or the listing price for that?
So we're at $375 right now.
$375.
Yeah,
Oh,
and we're priced very well because it's a great family that we want to help them move that property so we can help them purchase a new one.
Excellent, man. Excellent. Well, Efrain, tell me, how do people get a hold of you if they want to get more information about this home or about yourself to help other veterans with their
Definitely.
home
So
purchase?
regardless of whether it's real estate or if it's some other benefits, my phone number. My phone number is 818-741-6604. It's not the local area code, but you know, you get that number from high school and you don't change it ever. So I've had that same phone number since then. So 818-741-6604, regardless of whether it's for real estate or VA benefits, I love to help.
Awesome,
I really
man.
do.
I appreciate it, man. Well, Efrain, thank you very much for being on the show. I hope we can have you back here again. And I appreciate everything you do, man.
Thank you. No, and thank you for what you do in helping clients. You do go above and beyond to help people, and I really appreciate that.
Thank you very much, man. All right. Thank you guys for watching this segment of Veterans One TV.
As always, I come out completely amazed and inspired with the guests that we have on this show. It is powerful. There are so many ways that we can support our military and veteran families, and we have incredible guests that keep coming on episode after episode. You want to make sure and not miss the guests that we have lined up ahead of the next episodes. A huge thank you to Synergy One Lending for making this happen, for allowing us to be a voice and share their stories. Thank you for watching Veterans One. I'm your host, Amy Scruggs, and we'll see you next time.